for example, I was in New York last week, and I was gallery hopping in Chelsea and Soho, and I was in Soho one day, and I went into this gallery where there were these huge paintings. Some of them were beautiful, and some, frankly, were not. And this person's work, the paintings were left outside, so there's a combination of the paint and these natural pigments, and there's dirt and footprints on them and stuff. And some of them were beautiful and they worked, and they were huge. But what he had to say in his brochure, or the gallery's flyer about his show, I thought was kind of ridiculous. And he was actually being interviewed at the time when I was in there. And what he was saying and what the person who was interviewing him was saying was kind of making me chuckle, because they were talking about art is life, art is death, and in terms as simple as that, and I was kind of like, are you serious? The link to energy and spirituality, and I think all that is great, and I'm into some of those ideas too, but I think artists tend to try to make their artwork so important. Like, their art is changing people's ideas about life, and maybe in some degree it is, and I know that art can be a very profound thing, but I think they try to squeeze too much philosophy or conceptual ideas into the work. If it fits there, that's fine, but if it doesn't, if you're making abstract work and you're talking about, quantum physics, when your paintings are made out of dirt and pigment and sticks, like, the art is beautiful, and I love the way it flows organically, but where does quantum physics fit into that? I think they're selling their art short by trying to treat the audience like they're gullible. I always think of art as brain candy. It's not just eye candy, it's brain candy too, because when you see something new, your consciousness expands just a little bit, and so with my particular work, that's what I try to give other people. That's the ultimate goal, is for them to feel what I feel when I see a great piece of art. And if one of my pieces does that for somebody, it's the greatest compliment. Like, when people come into my gallery, the biggest compliment I can ever have is if they come in 2 or 3 times to look at a painting. It's not so much if they buy it or not. I mean, a sale is always nice, the money is nice, but as far as the feeling of a painting being successful, it's when someone can't take their eyes off of it. That's the greatest compliment. And what they think about it, that's kind of up to them. They don't even need to hear what I have to say about it. It's the reaction they get to the painting that is so amazing to me. That is what I love about art, and that's where the artist and the art appreciator, that's where they meet. And it's those things that I'm interested in as an artist. I see art on a different level than saying it's important. It's just not, it's not the word I think of, it's more like it's a gift. I could be working on something, and whether I'm working on it for 15 minutes or 2 hours, the time span feels about the same. I lose sense of time, and I love that. I'm not thinking about things in my life or goals or aspirations. It's just making my painting, and that is really, to me, the purest sense of enjoying life as it's happening. Well, I think people have not been exposed to art very much, which unfortunately is a lot of people in American society, because the arts aren't promoted the way they are in Europe or other countries around the world. I think people who aren't familiar with art are intimidated by it. So they either think that they don't know how to look at it, they don't know if they see something and it's not a picture, there's not a person, there's not a tree, there's nothing they can grab onto visually that makes sense to them. I think that what I see is they often dismiss it and say like, oh, I can do this, or anyone can do this, what's so great about this, which is a huge misconception. They don't understand the skill level it takes to make a good abstract painting. If they say I can do this, but if they try, they just make a muddy mess. They wouldn't know where to start. So there's that, and there's also an intimidation, like, I don't know how to relate to this painting at all. People who aren't used to seeing art to really kind of understand what I'm doing. But really, they just need to see more of it until they get a taste for what specific types of art they like. And the more they see art, the more they'll appreciate it. I can tell when someone is kind of experienced in viewing art, because they'll stand back, they'll get up real close, and they'll take time on a painting. They'll look at a painting for 30 seconds to a minute or longer. And that's when I really know that they're absorbing the painting and taking some time with it to see all that it is. Because a painting can look very different from far away. And then when you get up close, you can kind of try to see how it was actually made. And with my oil paintings, it's when you're up close that you see all the intricate details and the layers behind layers. And then when you see them from afar, they become kind of harmoniously one thing, Well, it was a steady climb since I was a kid. I've always been interested in art as a kid, but not art, I guess. Well, that's not true. Let me start over. I've always been interested in art. As a kid, it was kind of a vehicle for me to express myself, because I was very shy.